What's going on, everybody? It's your boy DJ Kill'em.
Holloway the brand.
We are Channel 45, the podcast about nothing.
We got a special guest in the building today, Mr. HBCU himself.
Yeah.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to the world, man.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Rakeeb Akande, the former Mr. Savannah State University and your reigning Mr. HBCU 2017-2018.
Hey, man, shout out to you, my brother.
Shout out royalty in the building.
Hey, nothing but crowns over here. Look, we about to get straight into it. We got so many questions to ask, but the first question, we read in your bio that you are the very first Mr. Savannah State University.
Definitely.
Can you tell us what it's like to wear that crown?
Wow, being the first Mr. Savannah State University is such an honor. You know, saying that we've been through 128 years without a male representation. To be the most dominant figure at our school, it's a beautiful thing to be able to say that I was the first. But it's such an honor to say that more kings behind me will be able to do the same work, and not even better. So yeah. I'm just excited that it was able to be for me.
Like, how did that go down? Was there an election?
Okay.
Was there a competition, or how did that happen?
As far as us having the Mr. Savannah State University, it took probably a year and a half. The SGA from 2016, led by President Kendall Walker, was able to establish a constitution that said, hey, we need a male figure. We've had almost 78 queens. Why not have a male figure?
Yeah, right.
And with that being said, they established a constitution, and it was passed through the Senate. It had 3 votes, and once it was passed, we were able to vote as if it was a regular election for the kings, the queens, and also the presidents of the school. So it was a pretty dope experience. It took about 3 months to get done, but once it was done, I feel like the school really accepted it, took a hold of it.
It's not a lot of HBCUs that have kings.
No, it's not.
That's a good thing. Though.
And it's not. And to speak and test to that is, once we just developed our king, Jackson State just had their first king. And one of the most beautiful things about that is the year prior to that, they were asking us, how do we do it? So to see that they was able to take that leap, it was a beautiful thing.
That's dope. That's dope.
Well, I know you got a chance to get acquainted with the kings that are running this year's competition and everything. Like, how did they differ from your group of competitors from last year, and what they bring to the table? You know what I'm saying? It's different because it's a lot of political issues that we focused on as a black community right now in the year 2018 that we weren't really facing in 2017. Everything's getting more amplified. These issues are becoming, like, you know what I'm saying, more socially recognized. So how are the Kings feeding off of that'll be competing this year? Okay. What they bring to the table?
So the difference between this year and last year's Kings is, I don't know, not in a good way, of course. Last year's Kings, we were more wide and open and, very acceptable of each other really fast. Mm-hmm. People are different. So for instance, this year's Kings is going to take a few days to kind of accept each other's personalities, accept each other's roles. But one thing I can say is these guys are wise beyond their years. They'll speak on things that most people wouldn't even, bring into the conversation to a table. So I believe that these guys, through this next few months of the semester, are able to kind of open the eyes of other kings. As you can see, this is the biggest group of kings that they've had.
Yeah, how many is it?
It's about 15 this year.
Wow,
from late last year. So it's almost
crazy.
double. So it's just the fact that people are really opening their eyes to accept the king's roles in our universities, which is something that, as you said, it's not something that's in every university. So as you can see in the next few years, you might be able to say that kings are once again the dominant figure of universities.
Wow. So since you said there are 15 kings, that's news to me. There's 15 kings competing and shit. How's the competition gonna go? Or do you have any knowledge on that? Like, will it be like last year's competition?
So it's way different this year. So this actually this evening is a prelim.
Prelims.
Yeah. So this year, we have prelims this year.
Okay.
This year, it's gonna be cut down to 8 for Saturday. Okay. So 8 kings will compete for the actual title, but 15 will compete tonight to go into the final stages of the competition. So tonight they'll go into introductions, they'll go into talent, and they'll also go into oratory. So that'll be able to decide in talent, and that'll be able to decide who the last 8 kings to perform on Saturday to compete for the actual title. So it's a whole new setup because there's more kings, but it's a beautiful sight for us.
Cool. Well, one thing that we all at this table have in common is that we are products of an HBCU. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my HBCUs. But research shows that more white students are becoming enrolled students at HBCUs as of recent, especially like with the 2018 academic school year. Do you feel like HBCUs are being more diversified and nationally recognized?
Yeah,
now?
how you feel about the HBCUs being diverse, like period, like you know what
Wow,
I'm saying?
that's a very hot topic right now.
Right.
It's this is one of the most intriguing things to talk about now. So, for instance, not to speak on anybody else's HBCUs or mine, but you always got to put the facts out when you know the facts. So, for North Carolina A&T, the top engineering school for African Americans,
Right.
and you know engineering is something that is very popular amongst anybody that wants to be successful in the world. So, of course, schools like that is pulling in Caucasian people.
Yeah.
Savannah State University has the top ranked marine biology program in the country, HBCU or PWI. Of course, it's going to bring Caucasians. You go down to FAMU, has a lot of different business backgrounds. Of course, it's going to bring more people. So, as you can see, the HBCUs are expanding their realms of just not just being historically black colleges and universities, but now they're expanding their cultural and they're actually expanding the backgrounds in which they can offer different students. And when we're able to do that, we can not only just be HBCUs, but we can be leaders and changers of the world, and which I feel like we're going into right now.
Do you feel like, you know what I'm saying, HBCUs being diversified, do you feel like it's changing to like PWI? Like, how do you feel about the culture? Like, you know, Caucasians being on campus, different other ethnicities being on campus as well. Like, how you feel about that?
As an HBCU, I feel like as if we've always been acceptable to any culture,
Right.
because we want to expand and we want to teach people that, hey, this is what this school was meant for African Americans, but also we're acceptable of you. You know, HBCUs were created for us because we were not accepted in different institutions.
Right.
But one thing that separates our institutions from every other institution is we weren't afraid to let others come in.
Right.
And that's the beautiful thing. We can't garner back on saying, hey, because we're HBCUs, we don't want to see that. I love seeing different cultures in my HBCUs because it makes me have to comprehend the real reason why we're acceptable in different places. And when you go to a PWI, you might not see that many African Americans walking around, but when you go to HBCUs, it's more acceptable nowadays. I have best friends that are Caucasian that go to PWIs, and it's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful thing. It helps us grow as an institution of its own.
So how do you feel HBCUs are being portrayed in the media?
In the media?
Yeah.
And
because I hear a lot of people say, I always hear the argument of a degree from an HBCU doesn't weigh out to be equivalent to a marketing degree, so to say, from a PWI. So how do you feel that that's being portrayed in the media? Or do you feel like our degrees are as valuable, or more valuable, or less valuable than PWI degrees?
I feel as if it's what you make it nowadays. If you look at top institutions and you look at top companies in the world, you can find those HBCU students. You can find those degrees. But if you're a person that just takes your degree and run with it and says, "Hey, I have a PWI degree. What's next? I have an HBCU degree. What's next?" There's not much that's gonna come out for you because some people maybe like you or you might take your degree and say, "Hey, I'm gonna go to the state and I'm going to work my way to the top." It's not about your degree at the end of the day. It's about the type of work you put in. Of course, let's be honest. The PWI, the Caucasians, or the minorities might be on a different scale.
Right.
But depending on the type of person you are, you can get to the top, depending on what kind of work ethic you have. So I feel as if it's an equal playing field once you get out there into the real world. And I've already noticed that in my short 2 months being out of school.
So recently, last year, Donald Trump invited the presidents to the White House. Do you feel like that was for political gain, or do you feel like it was genuine that he invited all the presidents to the White House?
Speaking on political terms is it's a very sensitive topic, and you have to be very careful with what you say.
Right.
But in that moment, it was very hyped up into being something that it may not have turned out into being. And seeing the HBCU presidents there, there were a few that were kind of reluctant or even being there, but out of the respect of the culture of what we were trying to garner from the president, they went. And as you can see, we instead of getting more from the president, a lot of cutbacks happened.
Right.
It may not have been directly from him, but from for instance, from the director of education, cutbacks from HBCUs happened across the board.
Definitely happened at this HBCU.
Exactly, $13 million in the state of Missouri, gone just like that. So it starts at the lowest level. Although it was at the top when we went to go see President Donald Trump, it starts at the lowest level with the Senate It starts in the state of Missouri, starts in the state of Georgia, starts in the state of, Oklahoma, and things of that nature. But if we can't figure it out at the lowest level, everything at the top it becomes, more political and more, more just more social. It's just we're just speaking and looking at it. There's nothing being done.
Yeah.
So we see that you come from Nigeria.
Yes, sir.
We'd like to know more about your background, your family, when you came to the United States.
Okay. So I came to the United States when I was about 12 years old. I have two younger siblings. One is a male and one is a female. I have my mother and father in my life. I'm very blessed. Not everybody has the opportunity, but
right.
And I say that in meaning that when I see somebody who doesn't, I try to make sure that they understand that they can still do it, even with or without. I live in Atlanta, Georgia right now. I just graduated from Savannah State University.
Hey, congratulations, my brother.
Thank you so much. Another black man with a degree. Let's keep going.
May
Let's
12th.
keep going. Yes, sir. We almost
12th.
there. See it through. So right now, everything is everything. The family is at home. I'm the type of person. I'm the oldest, so I'm trying to make sure that everything is done on the terms of everybody's riding my back for me to be successful. Right. So, but there's no rush of success for me. There's no rush at all.
Okay. Another fun fact about you that people might not know: you are a brother of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Shout out
to the good brothers.
Shout out to 06. Tell us about your fraternal experience on campus, man.
Oh man. Anybody who ever has a chance to be a part of fraternity or a sorority, please go do it. And if you're a male, please go initiate into Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
You know it.
It has been the most enjoyable experience of my life. It has changed and shaped me. They say that the fraternity should not, make you who you are.
Right.
It should be able to mold you.
Exactly.
And that is something that I believe that this fraternity has done for me. The campus life was amazing. We're all college students. We're not always in suits. We have fun. We party. We road trip. We strolled. We also throw a lot.
Strolled?
Oh, I strolled. I love strolling.
So let me ask you this, man.
All right.
Everybody wants to know.
Oh no! Don't do it! Don't do it!
Everybody, it's only right that I ask you this question.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and do it.
So what happened? I heard you fell off the stage one time and it went viral. I gotta know what happened, bro. I gotta know what happened. Somebody just told me this today.
Oh, you see the video?
Yeah, I just seen a video.
Oh man!
But look, I had plenty of those moments. I just want you to share it because I had plenty of those moments.
So we were at another neighboring school down the town.
Okay.
Georgia Southern was a step show, and you know at step shows when it's intermission or whatnot, they let you get on stage and you do your thing. Alphas love wipe me down.
Right, of course.
Wipe me down. Come on, you going to go crazy. So me being the stroll leader, stroll master, I was in the front. And what's crazy is I was telling everybody, back up, because it's a big stage. I do not want you all to fall. Back up. So the part come when it's time for me to do my normal double spin.
He said the double spin.
I didn't even say the single spin. I said double spin. And I literally just said, back up, here it come, because everybody knows it's my part. As soon as that happened, I felt the air just get sucked out of me. I missed my landing, and I'm literally talking about it's not no small fall. It's about 5, 6, 7 feet down. Like I fell. I got a permanent mark on my leg to this day. So one of the most important things that leadership and alpha and everything, fraternity teachers don't quit. It's one of my favorite poems. Fell down. It was no thought in my mind to just sit there. I got back up on beat.
Went back on stage.
Went right back to
on beat.
On beat.
That's what's up, man.
But I'll tell you what, it was a very enjoyable experience. It taught me just have fun, live in the moment. And before Greek Shenanigans posted it, I posted it myself.
So it made it to Greek Shenanigans. Oh shit!
It was fun though. I love laughing about it. No hard feelings.
So what's it like being a member of the fraternity? Because everybody knows that your work doesn't begin until you get into fraternity, and you gotta, keep this afloat and hold the light high every day. What was it like being Mrs. Savannah State and being a member of the fraternity? How did you juggle both hats?
Okay, so I had to wear 2 different hats, right?
You did?
Yes, sir. So for my experience, I was already in Alpha before I became Mr. Savannah State. So people knew who I was before that. So I was the fun alpha, I was the strolling alpha, I was the suited and booted alpha, I was the one that shook. I was the ladies' man almost. So for that part, I had to keep that same hat. But once I became Mr. Savannah State, I had to kind of shy away from the fraternal life a little bit because now the most important aspect of me being who I was representing a university. And with that being said, people were kind of like, "Hey, where you at? You gonna stroll to this one? You can't be that same loud person." It comes a time where you have to transition yourself from whom you are from who you need to be. And I had to position myself and to say that the balance had to be somewhere in between. But at the end of the day, I had to be Rakeeb Akande, Mr. Savannah State first. And then when I had the chance to be the alpha, of course, let's have some fun. So I found a very great balance in between those two.
Right. I see we coming to an end of the show, so I got like one more question for you that I want to know. What you gonna do after your reign as Mrs. HBCU concludes?
Okay, so right now I'm currently in the Army. I was blessed enough to go through a 4-year ROTC program with the Savannah State University Army ROTC. So I'm an officer. And with that being said, that's not my main focus right now as far as what I'm doing in my career path. That's always going to be there.
Right.
I want to be able to still influence those who are getting ready to run for this pageant, influence those who may ever consider their opportunity to be Mr. Freshman, Mr. Sophomore, Mr. Junior, Senior, or the Mr. of their school. But I really want to be in partnership with different people. You know, I just met you all today, and this could be a lifelong partnership because now you see that we can broadcast things like this in different cities, broadcast things like this in different, competitions. And to have the opportunity to do this as the first Mr. Savannah State, you see how far it's brought us all into this room. So I really just want to keep going.
That's dope. Well, y'all heard it first from Mr. HBCU himself, Rakeeb Akande,
Yes,
Channel 45, the podcast about nothing.
Thank you for listening. You make Channel 45 work. Check us out on SoundCloud. Check us out on all social media platforms.
Channel 45, the podcast about nothing. You check us out at Channel 45 PAN on all social media platforms.
When you check us out on Twitter, you can ask us questions. You can be interactive with us. We do follow back. This has been a first segment of Channel 45. Thank you.
Thank you.